Today on the list, riff on the history of jazz, a beloved sitcom says goodbye, and discover the complexity of coffee.
You don't want to taste the roast, you want to taste the varietal.
Plus, portable electronics to make remote work easier.
It doesn't take any ink, so you're not dealing with all that mess.
But up first, believe why Ted Lasso is the ultimate team leader. It's your life, it's your list, and it starts right now.
Hey everyone, I'm Jimmy Rhodes. Now, you hear a lot about the value of team players, and nowhere are their qualities more celebrated than in the Emmy-winning show Ted Lasso, about a sports team that's all about hope, compassion, and the power of believing in both ourselves and in others. Jackie Denker talked to 3 of the actors about how to be at the top of your game, and that's our featured story at the top of the list.
Ted Lasso welcome wagon has arrived.
If you've seen Apple TV Plus's Ted Lasso, you know that there are so many lessons we can learn from the show. One being the importance of being a team player.
1, 2, 3.
And we got the chance to catch up with 3 of the Richmond teammates themselves, Sam, Danny, and Isaac, played by Toheeb Jamo, Cristo Fernandez, and Kola Bokini, to learn what they think goes into being a solid team player on and off the field. Starting with Leaders Listen First.
It is our choices, gentlemen, that show what we truly are, far more than our abilities.
I've spent the last 3 years watching Jason be a leader. One thing that I've noticed from him is, sometimes the leader listens first. This show is so collaborative, and the only way it works, the only reason it's so rich and nuanced is because everybody chips in.
Next, good ideas can come from anyone.
I have a real tricky time hearing folks that don't believe in themselves, so I'm gonna ask you real quick again. Do you think this idea will work?
Yeah, I do.
Whoa!
It's about really building your team, trusting your people, believing in them, and you will be surprised what they can all bring to the game,
And Kola says it's all about using power for good.
Your character went through a big change, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Isaac. That smart mouth of yours just earned you and the entire team 10 laps.
Isaac, he thought he's only one thing. He's a physically imposing man in a negative way, but you can also use that in a positive way. You can use that to help others, to protect, to nurture. And he only started realizing that when somebody else like Ted made him realize that.
Hey, Captain. You gonna join us?
No, that's really beautiful, bro. Genuinely, that's actually insanely touching.
That being kind is cool.
Finally, there are lessons in losing.
When you guys lose, I feel like Ted always says, you're not really losing, right?
Yeah.
We may not have won, but y'all definitely succeeded.
I don't think Ted sees it as a loss because the real game is trying to make these young men the best versions of themselves that they can be.
That's awesome.
Also, some young men feel like losing is the end. And there's another game next week.
Do you remember what animal has the shortest memory?
The goldfish.
What do you think we should all do once we get done being sad?
I think we should all be a goldfish.
Just to be a goldfish.
There you go.
How to be a great team player on and off the pitch
I love you guys very much.
is at the top of the list.
Coffee is normally served hot in the morning to wake you up, while wine's normally served room temperature or even cold later in the day and helps you wind down. But oddly enough, these 2 beverages have a lot of overlap. Get ready to find out how.
The buzz they bring is completely different, but it turns out coffee and wine have a lot in common.
Wine has a long tradition of talking about varietals, regions, flavors. Is the same thing happening in coffee? People are paying more attention to what does something actually taste like, what is the experience associated with it, rather than just getting that buzz, right?
To find out how these 2 ubiquitous beverages are bosom buddies, we spoke to Andrew Robertson, Director of Retail for Press Coffee Roastery. For starters, coffee beans are like wine grapes.
Describe how, like grapes, where the bean grows matters. Does soil matter? Does
the farmer matter? It really, really does. So all of that makeup of weather, elevation, soil content, varietal, the practices of the farmer, all contribute to the final product.
Coffee beans are scored in a similar way that wines are scored.
Was it picked ripe? What's the acidity, moisture content? And about 100 variables are assessed, given a score between 0 and 100. If it's 80 points or higher, specialty grade coffee.
He says every 2 or 3 weeks they receive a new crop of beans.
Next year, there's a good chance we won't have any of the same coffees we bought this year because year to year or vintage to vintage, traits and characteristics vary a lot.
The vintage of the bean and where it comes from year to year determine the flavor characteristics.
And so we don't just have like the Guatemalan. We might have a Guatemalan Hutapu. Once it's out for this year, it's gone forever.
Next, roasting and fermentation are similar.
This is the raw agricultural product that's being exported all around the world. There's a big variance from bag to bag, crop to crop on what the quality of this coffee actually is.
I've never smelled pre-roasted coffee. It almost has sweetness to it.
Yeah, a lot of times it smells like sweet tart. The processing method is going to determine a lot of that smell, whether it's light and honey and floral or big and gamey and fruity.
This is similar to the wine fermentation process, and he says the ideal temp to roast beans is up to about 400 degrees.
We stop way before that because we're not looking for those bitter, burr, ashy notes.
You don't want to taste the roast. You want to taste the variety.
Exactly.
Finally, the tasting notes.
Just like a Pinot Noir is a light-bodied red wine, washed Ethiopian is a light-bodied coffee. So a lighter-bodied honey, tea-like. This is a Latin American. We generally expect more traditional chocolatey flavors than these. This one has a little more acid. We call that brightness in the coffee industry.
Until you do this and get it side by side, it's hard to tell how much variety matters.
That's right.
You're feeding my addiction. You understand this. You're an enabler.
That's the point. Yeah.
From coffee to Cabernet, we're finding common ground.
Vacation season is coming, and while in theory that means getting away from it all, many of us will need to bring along some tech, whether it's for work or play. Zach Perry is getting us geared up for the ride with a look at tech to go.
The car is loaded up and it's road trip time, but sometimes we can't completely leave our jobs behind. So it's time for travel-friendly versions of our favorite work gear.
The best thing about portable tech is that you can take it with you on the road, and it's so small, you can just throw it in your backpack or even a large purse.
Tech expert Abby Ritchie has a trio of tech items to go, starting with one she says is one of the hottest trends in mobile tech: a portable monitor. While there are many to choose from, Abby went with the Asus ZenScreen Go. It connects through USB-C for laptops, and it's wireless for smartphones and tablets.
What's so cool about having a portable monitor is that you get the experience that you have when you're at home and having a larger workspace.
And it's ideal for hotel room setups.
Let's say you need 2 monitors for work. You're working on a document and a spreadsheet at the same time. If you need it to go vertically, you can do that as well.
It's less than 2 pounds, and the protective cover doubles as a stand. Find it online for about $150. Next up, print almost anything anywhere with this rechargeable, battery-powered portable printer from Fomemo.
Now, the thing I love about this is if you're a realtor and you're out on the road and you have to print out a contract or a document, you got this.
And you can print a lot. The battery lasts for up to 120 sheets.
You can put it in your backpack, you can keep it in your car. It doesn't take any ink, so you're not dealing with all that mess.
It takes thermal paper, which can be found in office supply stores and online. Find the printer online for about $160. We'll wrap with a portable full-size keyboard from Jimmy Box.
Let's say you're traveling and you only have your iPad or your tablet with you, or even just your phone, and you need to type a document. And doing that tip-tapping with your fingers takes so long. With this portable keyboard, with the trackpad, you're gonna hammer that document out in no time.
It has a rechargeable battery, and perhaps the most popular feature,
it's about the same size as my phone.
We found ours online for about $29. Taking the office on the road with tech to go.
Still to come on the list, everything you need to know about jazz.
You have this melting pot of multiple cultures.
Plus the fire station with a canine captain.
Seeing them play with treats and toys, and yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty special.
And
drugs.
Thank you, no, I'm good.
No, I meant, are you in here for drugs? No.
Why the Goldbergs had a love affair with the 80s.
I thought we did a really good job with that one.
All that and more ahead on the list.
Welcome back. In 2001, the Smithsonian designated April Jazz Appreciation Month as a way to recognize and celebrate the extraordinary heritage and history of this uniquely American form of music. So we've got a few reasons why you should give the Top 40 station a rest and dial in some jazz.
It's time to listen to some jazz.
It is our country's native music. It was born out of the clubs in New York City. Guys and gals trying to play their best in front of each other, cutting sessions in the 50s and 60s. It matters because it is unique to our culture.
We spoke with Rob Moore, Director of Music at the Ravenscroft, to learn why and how we should appreciate the sounds of jazz. Starting with its history.
One of the central locations of the formation of jazz is in New Orleans. In the early 1900s, late 1800s, you had this melting pot of multiple cultures. So you have the French culture, you have European cultures, you have African cultures coming together.
And one of the first places we heard jazz music? Funeral marches.
When the Saints Go Marching In is an example of an early jazz composition. So this is kind of the beginnings of the formation of the types of instruments that are involved in jazz.
From there, the formation of big bands started to appear, bringing in larger instruments like the upright bass. Next, the elements of jazz, starting with improvisation.
Improv is setting up parameters and boundaries and defining a situation. Until somebody counts it off, you don't know the tempo. Right. You also don't know who's going to solo first or who's going to solo next.
Then we have swing.
Swing is a nebulous term. Typically in your favorite Taylor Swift, we have like a straight A groove, a straight da-ka-ka-ka-ka-ka-ka-ka. We're kind of basing it on the triplet. The triplet is second-da-da-ka-da-da-ka-da, except it's the first and the last note, so triplet, triplet, triplet.
And pay attention to the hand signals of jazz, kind of the unspoken language between musicians.
So when it's time to trade fours, which is take turns taking a solo between the soloist and the drummer, somebody will look around at the drummer and just splash him a four. We're going to trade fours. So that's one of the most common signals.
Another signal is the tap on the head.
When you're done trying to figure out who's going to solo next, they may look at me and say, you want to play a drum solo? And I'm going to, no, go to the head. Go to the head. Go to the head.
And be on the lookout for crazy eyes.
Let's say the bass player is just taking one too many choruses. So you're looking at the piano player, like giving him the crazy eyes, like, man, is he going to go again? Oh, man, he's going again. He's taking another turn. And then I'm over here like, come on, man.
We're learning how to appreciate jazz.
When life gets tough, it always helps to have a companion there for support, and it doesn't always have to be a person. Teresa Strasser introduces us to some dogs making a big difference in the lives of others. Hey, Teresa.
Thank you. These incredible pups are helping and giving so much love to those in need. Coming in at number 1 is Nala.
She is like my friend more than anything else. She's always there. She's comforting, she's loving.
Well, she was supposed to be a service dog, but her energetic personality did not allow it.
She can't pass the test because she's too friendly.
However, that has not stopped her from bringing lots of joy to those close to her, as she is now part of the College of Idaho football program.
Nala's been my buddy for 2 years now.
It was helpful to have her there and just bring that positive energy when you might not be so positive about what's happening injury-wise.
Such a sweet dog. At number 2 is Captain.
When we first got him, he wasn't sure how to act like a dog, and now 2 days later, seeing him play with treats and toys, and it's pretty fun.
Captain is part of the Treasure Island Fire Department after being rescued by the Humane Society of Tampa Bay.
This dog had not been associated with humans much, and not in a kind way anyway, so we've had him for 3 days. He's currently running all around the station.
As Captain keeps adjusting to his new home and his new life, he will join educational events and be there to support first responders as a therapy dog.
One thing about the fire service is every day is different. We're always on call, so it's nice to have something to come back to.
Captain will also become the department's official mascot. Love it. And last on our sweet support dog list, Daisy.
Due to my autism, I will have tics, so I start hitting my head when I'm stressed or something like that and making noise, and she interrupts that.
Daisy was paired with Lucy through a nonprofit organization called Dogs Invests, which focuses on training pups to become service animals for kids with autism.
We hear words like they make me feel safe and brave, they're my best friend, they're always happy, you know, they don't judge me, and so it's a real confidence booster for the kids.
Lucy trained with Daisy for 2 years and is now her full-time companion.
I get stressed out around people. I have really bad anxiety, so she helps me by walking around me and doing her task circle.
And those were a few dogs helping others by being their best friend. Lots more to come on the list. Stay right here.
Watch The List anytime.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Learn to play a new sport.
Here we go.
Try a new recipe.
That is like a warm hug. I love it.
Find money-saving tips.
So you're saving money while you're making money.
All on YouTube. Plus, you can watch The Guest List, our exclusive online-only series with extended cuts of The List's celebrity interviews. Go to youtube.com, search The List Show TV, and hit subscribe.
We're back, and on today's watch list, after 10 years as one of ABC's most popular family sitcoms, the Goldbergs are finally hanging up those tracksuits and crazy sweaters. Zach Perry hit up a couple of cast members for fun facts about the show as we say goodbye to the Goldbergs.
Big news, my special boys.
Big news indeed. The 80s-based sitcom ABC's The Goldbergs, created by Adam F. Goldberg, based on his real life, is coming to an end.
I want to stop the clock. I don't want it to be the end. I want to rewind.
The doting mom, Beverly Goldberg, played by Wendy McClendon Covey, and her nerdy son, Adam, played by Sean Giambroni, join us for a look at some of the show's fun facts, starting with Beverly's wild sweaters.
I am not flappy. I'm very flangry.
From wild designs to bold and bedazzled, straight out of the 80s.
The real Beverly Goldberg sent me a box full of her actual sweaters. This one's a favorite because it's Adam Goldberg's favorite. The biggest memory he has of his mom in her sweaters is this sweater.
I won't miss those sweaters.
It's a Harlequin clown riding a unicorn, high-fiving a dolphin. Duh.
If I never see another pair of shoulder pads again, that's fine.
Next up are the show's spoofs on iconic 80s movies. E.T. and Dirty Dancing made an appearance.
Slow down!
As did The Karate Kid. But the TV mother and son's favorite was a Ferris Bueller skit.
Yeah, because I love Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Don't you worry. Mama's going to stay right here and nurse you back to health.
No! I thought we did a really good job with that one.
Getting Charlie Sheen on for that.
Yes.
Drugs.
Thank you, no.
We'll wrap with the Goldbergs' respectful send-off. Both Wendy and Sean say they love their fans and are excited about the final episodes.
As far as Beverly is concerned, I think the way we wrap her up is very hopeful. In 10 years, let's say we get a reboot at some point, I'd love to see her married and surrounded by grandchildren.
Sean, who grew up before our eyes, is happy to bring closure to his character.
I think for Adam, how the finale ends does feel like it connects back to the first episode. It really shows how much he's grown.
Adam, you should take your mom to her reunion.
Me? You know I'm Adam, right?
You can watch the season finale Wednesday, May 3rd on ABC. Getting our last dose of antics and family fun.
Well, let me just flim jam out of here.
We're saying goodbye to the Goldbergs on the watch list.
See, you always knew what you were going to get when you watched the Goldbergs, and you might think that you always know what you're getting at a fast food menu, but what used to be cheap food is now inducing sticker shock. Expensive value meals are last on our list, and that's next. Welcome back. It's time for what's last on our list. And you know, I'm a thrifty guy, and one of my rules of thumb is to never spend more than $5 on a meal on average. And if you grocery shop, it's easy. You make a big stir fry, you portion it out in Tupperware, and you're eating all week long for pennies per serving. And then you bank that money for the occasional meal out. Now, happy hour menus are great, and it also helps to work the day of the week deals. Wherever you are, you can always find a Taco Tuesday. And fast food apps have deals like Whopper Wednesdays, where you can get a Whopper or Impossible Whopper for just $3 when you order through the Burger King app. Another useful tool, value menus, that little group of items at the drive-thru that used to be just $1, but even with inflation, they're often still only $2 or $3. But then I saw this from The Sun. Holy hamburger, I may have found the most expensive McDonald's value meals in the country. Okay, the headline's a little misleading because the TikToker, Ex-Con Media, actually zooms in on a combo meal, not a value menu item. But still, combos are supposed to give you a break on the price. And one combo was priced at $16.89. There were some even over $18. Come on, Mickey D's, you're supposed to be synonymous with inexpensive food. It's like the golden arches are made of actual gold. But listen, inflation's a thing, so I'm actually considering bumping up my per meal spending limit to, say, $5.50. And yeah, this is why I'm not dating. Folks, that's what's last on our list. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Tomorrow on the list, how to secure your online identity.
A scammer can duplicate your account.
Plus, easy ways to keep vegetables fresh.
Treat it just like you would a bouquet of flowers.
And why buying a home isn't out of reach.
Get out in the market and find something because it'll be worth more in a year.
Tomorrow on the list.